My name is Melanie Denny and I am a teacher here at John Monash. I teach chemistry, so VCE at year 11 and 12. I also teach pharmaceutical science, which is an elective science. So how we acquire antibiotic resistance in the first place, number one, all right. Number two is how it spreads, all right. So how does it get from one bacteria to another so we get a problem. And also we're going to do a little bit of research into some examples and the treatments and the preventions as well. We use a phased learning cycle. It's a common language that we use to plan our lessons. So we have an engager. We're going to have a look at this cartoon. Okay. As an individual, two things to do, okay, and I'd like you to record it down. What is your current understanding of this cartoon? And then also, if you don't fully know what it's talking about, what questions does it raise for you? My goal with that was to try and see what their prior knowledge was. So what do they understand already? We try and give them an idea of the outcomes that we want to have them, so either on the board or just talking about them. So actually what we're going to teach them, or what we're directly teaching them. How does it get into the bacteria? How does it become resistant on this side, and then this side? How does it actually work? What does it actually do to make that bacteria resistant to antibiotics? We do try, in most lessons we'll do at least some group work, so we're not always dealing with 50 students at one time. That little circle of DNA, is that construction is where they take the ideas that they've learnt and do something to try and make the learning their own. So the whiteboarding would have been an example of that. Demonstration, so taking it and showing us that they understand. Well, we do a lot of informal assessment, so that for us is a really good way of just gauging who has got it.
Cells can fend off antibiotics, and one of the ways is simply getting rid of the part of the cell that it attacks.
The antibiotic resistant alters the enzyme shape that joins the cell together, resulting that the B-lactam ring can't connect to the enzyme, which disables the cell wall.
We often will go with a student-centred approach. So the students are either doing their own research or at least working in a group on a specific task. And the idea there is that it's students learning from other students. They have different ideas and they have a lot of information already, so as a group, and often the students can put content in terms for other students to understand almost more easily than we can. Why do you think that changes the interaction with the antibiotic? Do you know what it actually does?
I'm pretty sure that it's because the enzyme in the antibiotic breaks down the bacteria, the properties in the bacteria, so then altering it prevents it from doing that.
So it's basically changing the shape of your antibiotic?
Yeah.
Pose, pause, pounce, bounce. So you pose the question and you give a bit of a lag time so people have time to think about it. You ask a particular student what the response was, and rather than just giving them a yes or no at that point, you'll actually throw it to a second student and say, well, what do you think about this person's? Do you agree or disagree? Why? That's the bounce. We like to try, and if they have an idea and maybe they've either missed the point or they haven't gone far enough, or we might say, well, why does this happen? So to try and get them to think deeper, or have you considered looking at it from this point of view, or maybe you should go and do a bit more research. I'm just starting my third year teaching. Having someone like Cam, who's very experienced in the classroom with you, has been, you learn so much. It's almost like continual peer observation both ways, which works really, really well, I think. Part of the idea is to give them a taste of how you bring different sciences together, and also to give them extension without necessarily accelerating them, but giving them more breadth and more depth within a certain area.